Google wants people in office despite productivity gains at home. Employees are waiting to hear whether their remote work plans will be approved. Most, if not all, of the wokeness at Google is bottom up, not top down. It's the employees who are pushing it. So honestly, I don't feel too sorry for him. But let me remind you of that story with my friend when they tried to pull that shit with him. They said, oh, you're coming back to the office. Like, I don't want to come back to the office. Like, oh, you either come back to the office or you can quit. Like, fine, I quit. And then the next day, so would you consider coming back if we let you keep working remote? Like, nope, found another job, bitch. Bye. Now, Google software engineers reported something in a recent survey that surprised higher-ups. They felt as productive working from home as they did before the pandemic. Internal research at the Alphabet unit also showed that employees want more collaboration and social connections at work, according to Brian Well, a human resources vice president. Oh, God, that's the opposite of what I want. I actually want my coworkers to be forbidden from pinging me and just leave me the fuck alone to do my job 9 to 5, and then I can just go about doing what I want to do. Well, it declines to provide exact figures, but said more than 75% of surveyed employees answered this way. Most staff also specifically crave physical proximity when working on new projects. There's something about innovative work when you need that spark, Well said in an interview. Our employees feel like those moments would happen better when they're together. They can happen just as easily if you're texting each other, trust me. And that's partially why, despite the rebound in productivity, the technology giant is sticking with its plan to bring most employees back to offices this fall. As Google deliberates which individual employees will get to continue working full-time from home and who will need to come in, some staff are increasingly frustrated by the lack of clear direction and uneven enforcement of the policy. Welcome to the club! Yeah, where was this frustration when it was us YouTubers who have to deal with a clear lack of direction on YouTube and uneven enforcement of its terms of service, huh? You guys didn't give a fuck about that, did you? Internal message boards lit up this month when a senior Google executive announced he was going to work from New Zealand. Meanwhile, most lower-level staff are waiting to learn if they can relocate or if they have to come into the office. That is great, isn't it? The executives can just do whatever they want, but you, the grunts, oh, no, you need to be in the office. It's better. Why don't you do it? Google's transition back to office life is being closely watched. The search giant practically invented the luxurious Silicon Valley campus with its abundant free food, nap pads, and other perks. Google is saving around $1 billion a year on expenses thanks to remote work, yet the company has invested far more on recent real estate expansions in San Jose, California, New York City, and elsewhere. And even Google must contend with personnel unwilling to surrender the comforts or economic benefits of remote work, especially with white-collar workforce that has no qualms rebelling against management. Yeah, it may actually work out in their favor for once. Workers in many industries have decided to quit their jobs rather than give up virtual work. Oh yeah, that is my line for sure. If my work told me I needed to start coming back to the office, I would say, how about you just take my 2-week notice and go fuck yourself? While some tech companies went fully remote during the pandemic, or others that haven't, like Apple, have also dealt with staff resisting a return. A new cottage industry sprung up around remote work as smaller cities tried to lure rich tech employees from the coast. Oh, God, no. Look at what's happening to every place Californians are infesting. You don't want those people. They may have a short-term benefit with the money they bring, but long-term, they will kill your economy. Google and Apple have some of the best offices, said Evan Hawk, a co-founder of MakeMyMove.com, an online directory for remote work. But if they're dealing with it, it's safe to assume everyone else will be too. Yeah, I don't care about how good the office is. All I care about is all the time I fucking save not having to travel to and from the office. That alone, I would not give up. I basically have 2 more hours in the day now that I don't have to waste time traveling. Well runs Google's People Analytics, a division that tracks staff performance and opinion, and shared findings this week as Google opened its Mountain View headquarters to staff on a voluntary basis. In September, Google asked most of its workforce to return 3 days a week. When the pandemic struck, overall measures of productivity quickly plummeted, well said. It was only this May that those productivity figures tracked in self-reported employee surveys bounced back. Oh, why do you have to track them in self-reported surveys? Can't you just track them based on the results of the work they turn in? Yeah, pleasant surprise for Wells division. Google only shared survey figures from its engineers. The company employs thousands of non-engineers as well. Also in May, the company relaxed its return-to-work policy. Chief Executive Officer Sundar Pichai told staff about the new plan for a hybrid work model. 60% of the company would return to their old offices 3 days a week. A fifth could apply to relocate to other offices. Another fifth could apply to work remotely full-time. Google said it would notify staff of those decisions in August, and the company set up an internal tool for employees to submit and track these requests. Sounds like it's pretty fucking arbitrary. Oh, we're just going to let a random 1/5 of you keep working remotely just because. But all the rest of you need to be here just because. But that messaging has, on occasion, been clumsy. The latest internal spark set off in June when Urs Holzel, a powerful executive overseeing Google's technical infrastructure, emailed staff about his plans to move from California to New Zealand for at least a year. For many underlings waiting on approvals to change their work situations, this unexpected news felt flippant and unfair. Under Google's policies, a transfer to cheaper cities can mean a pay cut. Not for executives, though. It's just grunts. Now, several employees complained about Holzel's decision in text threads and on MemeGen. The company's internal message board, the email was very tone deaf, said Laura DeVasine, a senior engineer who works under Holzel. Obviously, there's an enormous double standard. It was even the subject of a cartoon from Mao Cornet, a veteran Google software engineer with renown inside the company for his comics spoofing its culture. Cornet recently left Google for Twitter. Oh my God. What? Leaving one evil big tech company for another? All right. Let's see if this comic's any good. So, can I move to Arizona? I don't know. It's pretty far. You know Urs doesn't like this. Maybe? I heard I would have to take a 15% pay cut. Is that true? That's possible. Or maybe 25%. Not sure. And then, oh, hi, Urs. Where are you moving to? New Zealand. Cool. Don't forget to accept your new equity grant. Actually, I think it might be 30%. Can you come back in 90 days and we'll figure it out? Next. That's pretty accurate. That is what's happening in Google there. A Google spokesperson said that Holzel's relocation request was approved last year, but was delayed because of the pandemic. In his email, Holzel said he would continue to work on California hours. The spokesperson said that Holzel is supportive of remote work and that there will be employees across all levels of his division who will be approved to relocate or work remotely. Holzel, Google's 8th employee, is known internally for building the teams managing its sprawling data centers and server farms. I'm not retiring, just changing my location. He wrote an email to staff, which was reviewed by Bloomberg News. In an earlier email from May, Holzel had noted that remote employees might be left out of impromptu office conversations. How is that a bad thing? God, I am so much more productive now that I don't have to deal with these impromptu office conversations where we know collaboration happens. So maybe like 0.5% you get some collaboration. The rest is distraction. The senior reported earlier on Holzel's email and staff reactions. In the internal message about Holzel's move, some frustrated Google staff resurfaced an email from an ex-colleague native to New Zealand. That person wrote they were leaving the company in April of current year -1 after being unable to get authorized to work remotely from the country, according to a copy reviewed by Bloomberg News. Well, should have been an executive then. You could have gotten away with it, huh? Will declined to comment specifically on Holzel, but said Google will be flexible with certain requests. By certain requests, you mean requests from executives. There's an opportunity for exceptions, he said, if you're an executive. In recent years, Google employees have gone to war with management over a number of issues. Staff had complained that in response, the company brass has put up barriers to communication and made decisions with less transparency. What did you think would happen? And meanwhile, executives have complained that a more activist employee base has forced them to withhold information. This is exactly the culture that you supported and championed, Google. I don't want to hear any bitching. Or is it only okay when the rest of us have to deal with it, but not you, huh? Maybe if you put your fucking foot down when it came to these activists years ago, you wouldn't be having this problem right now. You did this to yourselves. I don't want to hear any bitching. Yeah, meetings where minutes are taken and hours are wasted. Oh, so true. Although, again, full disclosure, I love meetings now. Before I started working from home, if I was scheduled for a 4-hour meeting, I just went, God damn it, that's 6 hours of my day wasted right there that I'm not going to be able to do anything productive in. Nowadays, when I get scheduled for a 4-hour meeting, I'm like, shit, they want to pay me to play video games for 6 hours? Why not? Now, Google pays lavish salaries to many employees and isn't at the risk of mass exodus over an office return. Even if there was, you could just easily replace these idiots. Most Google employees aren't exactly the cream of the crop anymore. Maybe their first few waves of employees were, but the recent hires are, let's just say they leave a lot to be desired. Still, some are departing. Devasine, the Google engineer, considered moving from the pricey Bay Area during the pandemic, but did not have a management sign-off. The uncertainty about what Google's policy will be has left me stuck, she said, and I got tired of waiting. She's planning to leave Google for a remote position under another company. Yeah, it's not that hard to find remote work anymore. So if your current employer demands you go back to the office, then just quit and get another remote job. Or actually, do it in the reverse order. First, land yourself another remote job and then quit. It's like, hey, RGE, you were supposed to be in the office today. Where were you? Oh, you weren't informed of the 2-week notice I put in 2 weeks ago? Like, but what are we going to do? We needed you on all these projects. Like, well, that sounds like a whole lot of not my fucking problem to me. Maybe you should have taken it more seriously when I said I'd rather quit than go back to the office. You knew this was going to happen, but you did it anyway. Did you think I was bluffing? Now, Devasine said she was not speaking on behalf of the employee labor group, the Alphabet Works Union, of which she is a member. Wells stressed that Google's guidelines around remote work may still change. The portion of employees it expects to return to the office is still an estimate. Google isn't sharing how many remote employees' requests have been approved so far, but Well called the overall employee reception to the transition positive. Typical corpo right there. Like, well, no one shot up the office, so I guess the reception was positive. So far, so good, he said. Let's see how it unfolds. I would be very, very careful of hiring anyone from Google, though, because they're probably tainted by that NPC activist culture. Oh man, I am so excited to tell you guys right now that finally, after about a year of build-up and shilling, we have launched Blade Devil on Indiegogo, and so far it is doing so well thanks to awesome people like you. If you haven't backed it yet, then please check the links in the description and check out Blade Devil on Indiegogo. You will not be disappointed. Looking forward to seeing you there.